I think for Thomas, like when I met him, this house was not as it is right now. He has a clear vision what he wants to do. And it takes more time because he does everything on his own, right? He is the one who actually build the door or who will be by himself doing things. So it took a while. I've been with him for 15 years. I've seen him express or materialize his ideas in each place. And there's always a project for him. So I think this house is Thomas. Yeah, is what he didn't finish with the project. So it's always interesting to think what is going to be the next project.
So this house is on a canyon inside the city of Berkeley, but behind us is just a very large open space where there's just trails, and this is something that I value very much. You can see it's a little bit like being in the country because there's not a lot of street lights, there's not a lot of sound from the city because we're on the backside of the hill. This house has a long history for me. It was my grandfather's house, and I have memories coming up here as a child. When I moved in like 25 years ago, the house was not in a state that I liked. It didn't match my aesthetic. And so I've worked over these decades bringing in the feelings that I wanted and dealing with the constraints of the existing structure. This house also has been a teacher for me. I've learned a lot what I know about design from this house, a lot of what I know about construction and building, woodworking even. This whole area, this was a big project where I had to excavate 13 yards of soil, and I piled it up here and built more flat area to plan and to have space. And so I built this whole deck, this hot tub, which you can just roll like that. This is a place I always had a vision because it's the highest place on the property and it has the most direct view of the canyon, and you don't see any houses, and it's just like a feeling of being immersed in nature. Like creating a space, I'm always trying to maximize its relationship with the natural environment. So whether it's in the garden, of course you need to know where the sun is and what is that space calling to? Is it a space where people want to gather, or is it a space where you can just let plants, do their thing? Is it a place where stone or wood can add something to it? My inspiration for design and for building, first I was inspired by traditional Japanese architecture and woodworking. The materials that are used, there's so much warmth in the materials and so much depth. When I'm choosing materials, of course I like to choose them for their beauty, but also for the tactile experience that they offer. I grew up spending a lot of time in the Sierra Nevada. I worked there for 5 years as a teenager on the rivers, and there it's just, you're surrounded by granite, and it's this beautiful stone. So when I brought stone into the garden, I like to use granite. My family and we walk around barefoot a lot, and it's just a nice experience. My favorite materials for interior spaces are wood, plaster, and stone. I would also add concrete to that list. These materials are beautiful in and of themselves, and also when you put them together, it just creates a warmth and connection with nature that I really value. The woods that I like to use are local woods, redwood, fir, cedar. I also, for furniture, sometimes use white oak or walnut. I think it's important to use woods from your environment, from the place that you're from, and that are domestic. It creates more of a connection to place, a connection to home, and it just feels natural to me.
And he loves what he does, so he's always thinking, all the time. I don't see or hardly ever see him not doing anything. He's either taking care of what we have or he is improving. So he's constantly thinking about improving the house or making things better, more organized. So, yeah.
I like to build in an open and natural environment because I'm inspired by the light and just that being able to create that flow between interior and exterior space. In this room, for instance, this room has the advantage of being right on the ground, so the flow to the outside, to the earth, is so seamless. Yet, because we're on the canyon, you have this feeling of height and this feeling of openness. I think the most important thing while doing woodworking and carpentry is to be patient and to go slow. There's a saying that if you want something done fast, then go slow. I think that's very important for building, for woodworking, because if not, then you can waste materials. You end up spending 2-3 times longer if you try to go too quickly. This is the original courtyard slab, but I redid the fences and I had to regrade, so I built these retaining walls and I cantilevered the benches. It's just a nice sunny spot that we, have. Sometimes we bring a table out here and have meals out here, or we have tea or coffee or snacks or whatever, with the kids. It's very special to have the wood shop here right on the property because I love to work and I also love to spend time with my family. When I'm working, I can see my kids playing in the garden, playing in the spaces that I created. I can hear them, and that makes work all the more enjoyable.
He's sharing his ideas with us, with the kids, playing with the kids and teaching how to work with wood. So there's always a project that he's doing, and he likes to involve the kids and doing his best mission as a carpenter in the house with us. And the kids already know how to play with tools. They know how to cut a wood. They understand what the father's doing. They know every single piece he did in this house. So I think it's a father, a husband, and everything he does is part of his daily life with us.
So there's just a lot of outdoor space to enjoy at the house. The kids run around. They, when they're really young, they would jump across all these granite stones and climb the trees and play basketball. So there's a lot of good memories of just them spending a lot of time here. They're still young, but there's already a lot of memories. I also love having the wood shop here because I get inspired by an idea and I can easily work on it. You can see those are remnants from the original design of the house, but other than that, there was traditional kind of box hedges and things that I took out. So I brought in stone and native plants, and I even did a new design for that railing so that you could see through. It used to be all boarded up so that it was, you couldn't see through. It was just like a continuation of the house design. More time with my family, and also when the kids are bugging me and I just want to be creative, I can escape into the shop and work on a project, work on a design. That the house is always evolving, is always changing. There's always have new ideas, and having the wood shop here makes that so easy. The aspect of building and creating space that I really like is the opportunity to make something that is both beautiful and usable, and you get to see, how that space is used, and it's used in a variety of ways after it's built, and that's what you get a lot of joy from.